wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of Who Corner to Corner podcast. This is a very special episode, which sees part 2 of our mega interview with Chris Chibnall, showrunner of the 13th Doctor's era. Just to paint the scene, I am Paul, and I'm with, as always, my good friend Jeff. Hi, Jeff. There he is. So he is actually there. And to paint the scene even further, we managed to get hold of Chris Chibnall, who very graciously gave us a lot of his time. And we literally mined him for as much information as we could, but he was only too happy to give it. So to paint the scene, we were in a location very, very close to the location for Broadchurch. It was a lovely B&B on the beach on literally the hottest day of the year so far in the UK. We were all very, very warm in that.
Good job we weren't filming.
But please do sit back and enjoy the second half of our fabulous interview with Chris Chibnall. And as always, do feel free to follow us on Twitter. Get in touch with anything you'd like to say on the podcast. We're always here, my friends. Enjoy.
The thing I was just going to say about that, though, was what I love about Doctor Who fans is and I knew this, like somebody is thinking, is that sea monster related to the Merc from 1983?
Sorry,
but I love it because that's also, that's why it's there, and also so that you can go, look, here's a really great sea monster, they would have done had they had the opportunity. And I just love, so thank you for that question, because yes, there's a connection and you can figure it out, the lineage yourself.
We said that, didn't we? The trailer came up for...
I got really excited. Yeah. This is the thing, right? Because I am in my 50s now. Early 50s, but still, I've crossed that line.
You look so much older.
Oh, thank you very much. Speak to my agent. Right. But it's like, but I still get that excitement that I had as a kid. And I remember, so I was it 1983? So I would have been 12 when 11 even when it came out. And I was loving Doctor Who at that point. Davison was really into it.
Yeah.
He's my doctor right then. And that season 21, it started and it looked so shiny and it was so alluring. It was quite fast paced, And then a bloody thing came on, and it was like, when your mates are sort of saying to you, right, Doctor Who's for kids and it's a bit rubbish, why do you still watch it and stuff like that? And you're like, because it's brilliant, You'll never understand why it's brilliant, but watch it tonight, it's great. And then they come with that on, and you're like, I'm never going to come back from this. There is no way can I defend this. Yeah. So for those decades since I was 11 years old, I've been carrying that with me. Yeah. And then finally you bring us this giant sea monster, and I'm like, please let this be the Merca, because then I can fully exercise that ghost from within my soul, and we can say, yes, Doctor Who is great. And show you and everything else.
Well, I mean, it could well be, couldn't it? Because also it's might have different names in different parts of the world.
Absolutely.
So, I think you gave a great answer about it. So I think
you're happy. Much.
So our end of episode 1 cliffhanger is the Merca.
Yeah. I love a good cliffhanger. Yeah.
Very important. Yes.
Right, I'd like to move on to Flux for a little bit. And I did write here, Flux is a masterpiece, and I do believe that.
He did write that.
I love that you wrote that down and committed to it legally. That's great. I'm not sure I agree, but carry on.
I think that we both loved it, but it's ambitious and it's epic, and the fact that you did it through COVID is unbelievable. And
yes, it feels it.
Yeah. So for my own filming work, which is nowhere near on the same scale, anywhere near. I'm like here and you're up here. But even doing interviews of people during COVID, you get these really fugly shots where you've got people 2 meters apart, and you're like, I need to get you normally wasted space, you want to make sure everything in your shot looks good, but even stuff like that, just doing a 2-person interview was an absolute nightmare. So I can't imagine, what it was like trying to do that, the show, but we'll come to that. But Flux was... it was amazing. There was so much in it. What was the original plan for Series 13?
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes, and also we know that Flux was going to be a bit longer initially, and went down to 6. And so I'm throwing a whole load of questions here, which I do tend to do.
What did you say? Tell us about Flux.
Yeah, tell us about.
I think and it's some of this is a blur now already for obvious reasons, because it was both fast and slow moving for a little while there. The planning we were doing for our third season was along the modelling of season 12.
Right.
So a mixture of two-parters and singles, same episode count, obviously, overseas filming, and we were talking to the same writing team, really. We were talking to Nina Mativier, we were talking to Ed, we were talking to Vinay, Pete McTighe. They were all in the mix. We were all really happy with how they worked, their contribution, their scripts, their ideas. Joy as well. It was, so everybody was in the mix, and we were. I remember being in, and so we'd been doing some story work. There weren't any scripts, but there was a lot of story ideas knocking about. We were working with Vin on a story in the BBC at White City, and I remember the day of we were working with him. I remember at lunchtime I went to the loo, and all the how to wash your hands signs went up in the BBC. Like you just walked into the BBC loos and it was on every single mirror. And we'd obviously been hearing about the pandemic. Well, I guess this was late February, early March, and it was like, and I just suddenly got the feeling. I thought, I don't think we're going to be making this series. And obviously we were supposed to go back into production, really quickly. And that was, getting punted down already because of the sort of worries about this. So that was the thing. And then there was just this, obviously the world shut down, and that was the biggest thing. And we stopped work, and I guess for about 3 or 4 months it was just uncertainty. I wouldn't, as I'm talking about the timescales here, I haven't got any diary on me or anything. It may just not be. That was the sense of it. Probably about 3 months, and there were discussions about what's going to happen. Once you got past that first thing, it's really hard to even think and remember it already. I don't know, everybody's experience of the pandemic. You just go, I can't believe that happened. Stay inside.
My kids won't remember it.
No,
which is good. Which is good, and then they'll read about it in years to come, and they'll probably ask questions and stuff. Sorry, it's completely not Doctor Who related, but I was saying earlier about my daughter with her hearing aids.
Yes.
And when we were at home in lockdown, it was just all of us in the house, and she was behind on her speech compared to her sister. Right. And then all kind of picked up and developed better because she was in a quiet environment. But we didn't know about the problem then.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we just. I remember having conversations with Nicky, because Matt was off, so Nicky Wilson exec. Matt was off. He'd had a scheduled break in, and Nicky was off, and we were talking about the next season, and it just became apparent. I was just like, we're not going to get to make the thing we're planning, and I don't know if we're going. I don't see how we get to make Doctor Who under this. They were starting to make full stop. Yeah. There was just. And all the stuff they were telling us, so they were starting to plan to make Silent Witness. I mean, I remember the day they did the Talking Heads thing for the BBC. I don't know if you remember, they remade Alan Bennett's Talking Heads.
Right.
It was one of the first pieces of drama. I remember us getting, because we were obviously all part of the BBC kind of knowledge base, and I remember the word coming back from the first day of shooting on that, where they were like, it took them 3 hours to move one piece of scenery. And we were just like, there's just no way.
Especially when you think about the level of Doctor Who and the sets and
that was it. It was exactly that. And so they'd found a model to make Silent Witness with, and I remember somebody at the BBC saying to me, somebody at studio saying, well, we're making Silent Witness in a sort of disused office block, and we're using a whole of the office block, cordoning that off. So maybe you could do that with Doctor Who too. I was like, that is not going to work.
The TARDIS has changed to an office block.
And everybody was sort of saying, and even some writers go, well, I can think of a two-hander or a thing in a really enclosed space. I was like, we can't do this. We can't do this.
You can do something like that on occasion, a bit like Midnight, I guess, but a whole season,
exactly. But it was also just, we just can't. So basically, we started to break it down, and as we got more information, and it was over a course of about 3 months. Myself, Nikki Wilson and Cerise Doyle, who's our amazing post-production supervisor executive, which is really indispensable. We just broke down, how do you make Doctor Who? What are we going to be able to do that we think we're doing? What can't we do? And how would we do it so that we can make the show? And the news was just catastrophic, continually catastrophic. I use that word in inverted commas in relation to drama rather than genuine catastrophic news that was going on around the world. But the news was just like, there is no way to do this. So we literally spent so long on Zoom calls, so long on emails, just going, if we did this, could you do that? If we did that, if we put everything, and then obviously we were starting to get things about bubbles and productions, and we were getting more information. And I think there was a certain point where I realised, where we were just going, right, how many episodes can you do? How many? And there was just a certain point where it was like, we're working to the wrong model, which is we're trying to do individual episodes like we've been doing for the past 2 seasons. And what it has to be. Of course.
But it sounds like you're all determined to make it work, like, you know,
looking at some way to make it happen.
to figure out.
Well, there was a certain point. I mean, yes, there were various things going on, and you know, to be fair, you know, Charlotte Pierce and BBC were desperate for it to be one of the shows that was prioritised, and you know, there were lots of people trying to work it out. So yes, I mean, I thought there was weeks when I thought it's done, and that's it. You know, Jodie and I knew. I mean, from the start that we'd just be doing the 3. So it was very much like, okay, so that means that Christmas special, that New Year's special, would be the last one. Would have been our last episode. And I was like, no, it's not the worst ending. You know, it's like,
it's not what you wanted,
but it's not what. But you just like, but it was also like, you know, we had people who were ill and dying, and you know, we knew people. So it was like, okay, that's, you know, there was definitely a good few weeks when we thought there's no way. And also, you know, both of us had work lined up. You know, everything was pushing on, and Jodie had big jobs, and you know, she had great stuff that didn't happen, and because of the pandemic, and you know, she couldn't then do because she was doing Doctor Who again. So we kept in touch as well, you know, and obviously we did the kind of cover video. But the main thing was, I just began to think, right, we can't make the series we would have. Obviously, we can't make that series, and I don't think we can make traditional Doctor Who. So what can we do? And then it was me and Nikki were talking. She was like, well, what if you are reusing sets? What if you are going back? And she was like, we never do that. I was like, okay, we can do that. You know, I was thinking. Then what am I thinking at that moment? I'm thinking, Ark in Space. Ark in Space and Revenge of the Cyberman. There's a precedent for this. You know, there's you know, there's also that first season. You know, Russell's first season where they're reusing the space station. So you're just like, okay, we can do this. Okay, what if? And it was literally going, okay, could we build this many sets? And we reuse them. And can we build this many? And we didn't know if we could have monsters. That was the other thing. Because it was like, well, how do you do? People can't go within 6 feet of each other. How are you doing that? You know. And then obviously as testing began to come in, like, okay, that seems to be, they're going to make that available. So it's a very, very slow thing. So it was a long time of despair. I had a small amount of, I had a small break in the middle of it because my wife broke her ankle. And I was like, for 6 weeks I was looking after her in the middle of the summer, where it was like, you know, I had to take her into hospital and leave her at the door because nobody was permitting it. So it was, like, there was all kinds of things going on. But then we came back, and then it was like, okay, what we think we can do is, and then it was like, it was 8 episodes in total, so 6 episodes plus 2, and we'll have a similar budget to what we had the year before, but it will only go this far. And we just worked it out like that. And I said, I'll reuse sets. We'll reuse characters. You couldn't have. You couldn't cast that many people either. You couldn't continually recast. So we basically had to reinvent the show from the ground up. So the whole thing is born out of necessity. It's not me going, finally I can do my serialised Doctor Who. And actually I was just sitting there thinking, oh my god, this is the biggest narrative challenge. And even at one point I had Stephen texting me going, Yeah, that's the biggest challenge any Doctor Who showrunner has ever faced. Sorry, mate. Which actually was very cheering. It was a lovely text to receive. He was like, yeah, there you go. And he was like, I'm here if you need me. He was really sweet. So we just literally broke everything down. How do you do post-production? How are you doing final mixes? How are you doing... Because you can't be in any rooms with anyone. Everything's got to be remote. Storyline remotely. We had remote read-throughs on Zoom. I remember the read-through of the... Survivors of the Flux, which has that enormous cast because you're going everywhere, and there's like there's Robert Bathurst and Barbara Flynn and all. It's like all of these people on my Craig Parkinson, all on my Zoom screen. I'm like, this is madness.
Nuts.
Kevin McNally. So that's kind of what happened, and obviously, and I actually wrote some of the scenes from Halloween Apocalypse. I wrote a sort of sample of this is what it's going to feel like, you know. So I wrote like I think a Williamson scene. I wrote the Weeping Angel scene, you know, and it was kind of like, okay, you have to restructure the whole narrative shape of the series. But obviously, there's the classic series as a kind of guide rope in a funny way. And you're going, okay. I just kept saying, I mean, that was my blasé answer. I was like, we're just doing an old-fashioned six-parter. While in my head, I was like, we're not doing an old-fashioned six-parter. We're doing 6 episodes, but it's, you know, they've got to be standalone-ish as well. Going back to an early conversation about serialised versus standalone. So we just gradually chipped away at it. I delivered Halloween Apocalypse, as it was not called at that point. Not till very late, and then we sort of broke it down and thought, no, we can do this because a lot of those storylines are in discrete groups to keep actors separate, so that they're in that bubble. They don't meet that. These people will meet at that point. Hopefully, we'll be further along then. You know, a lot of it was a gamble. We're going by the time we get to episode 5.
Well, it must have been.
Is it going to be over?
Yeah, in the Vanquishers, you got loads of people together. So you know, obviously, production-wise.
Well, by that point we knew, like, obviously everything. Loads of things had changed within the pandemic, but also the bubbling systems were very clear, testing had been very clear. We had done really well. I say we, it wasn't me in any way, shape or form, it was the testing teams who were the heroes. And
you never shut down, did you?
We never shut down, and nobody got ill while we were shooting. I mean, Jamie and John, I think, director Jamie, got ill when he went home for Christmas, which, you know, but yeah, no, we didn't, and that's down to all those testers. They are the unsung heroes of Doctor Who history, and you know. But we were, God knows what, I think we spent like 35 grand a week on testing. Wow, you know, coming off the boat, you didn't get extra in the budget for that or anything like that. People coming in for prosthetics, you know, normally they come in at 4 a.m. and they're coming in at 3 or 2, and you know, everybody's masked and nobody's.
Yes, well, sounds
so
wasn't it?
So I think that was it. And I think then the first block shooting was very, very difficult, and everybody was really on edge. The first block was before Christmas, leading up to Christmas, and also we did the Sontaran location stuff, and the weather was
you can see it.
You can see it, and it looks amazing on screen, but it nearly broke everybody. Really? So there was COVID, and then there's like, oh, but this is what it's like to film Doctor Who normally, and that's impossible.
But you want one or the other.
It was both. So it was really, really hard. It was very, very. Everybody was very on edge. And then we had a Christmas break, and then somehow everybody came up back after Christmas, and everybody was like, we can do this. You know, we can do this. And we were filming the Weeping Angels one then, and you know, it's like everybody felt like, oh, it's doable. You know, we were watching the rushes, going, this is great. You know, you've got to give so much credit to Jamie Magnus-Stone for leading that series, you know, and what he did, and his enthusiasm, his positivity, and, you know. So that's sort of the shape of how it went, but it wasn't, before it was a writing job, it was a producing job, because we were looking at spreadsheets and just going, how can you know, so that's why you have Atropos, you know, that's a fixed set in a studio that's got scale and space, so they don't have to be in close proximity too much, and then we can come back to that. We can use it in you know. I think the biggest episode you see the impact in is Once Upon a Time, which is very much a kind of reuse episode, and you know, I'd probably look at that if I were to, you know, do it again. You know, I'd be like, okay, that's the one that just needs to not be as reusey, you know. But you know, you learn by doing it. It was. I think it's. I can't believe we did it, and it had knock-on effects to the specials as well.
Yeah.
So, it's a different.
I just, the whole series in itself is, amazing, like I said, but the fact that it was done, and you all worked that hard, and everyone was obviously committed to doing it, and wanted to make it happen.
Everybody was very grown up. I mean, everybody was also like my responsibility in that moment. I'm just topping up my Coke. Coca-Cola. My responsibility was to ensure that people were working, because also if everybody had put that out of their calendar, and if Doctor Who didn't go ahead, that's like 100 people would have been out of work for a year at that point, and so it was like there were so many reasons for it had to happen. One of which is also, if I'm a kid, which I am, I want Doctor Who back on air. I don't want it not to be on air next year, and so there were so many. You talk about, was it a pressure having a female Doctor? And it's like the pressure was, have we already shot our final series in series 2?
Not realised.
Are all these people going to be? All of our friends are going to be out of work? That was the pressure. Yeah. And then we came, and then it's like, and can you make that series joyous? Then in that, because I think it's got some of my favourite stuff in. We did
absolutely.
And some of the bits that. Sorry to talk over you, but just some of the bits that I think are most like the Doctor Who in my head. I always wanted to make, like the opening of the whole season, with the grav bar. I'm like, that's what I want every minute of every episode to be like, or War of the Sontarans, where I go, that scale of storytelling, those images, traditional Doctor Who monsters, but kind of scaled up in. And then going off to other places and intercutting. Like, that's the Doctor Who in my head.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's epic, and it's just everything from the, all the Sontaran ships in Liverpool to, the fleets,
the battlefield as well.
And the Daleks and ships and everything when that's all blowing up at the end, and just the whole thing. I could talk about it all day.
Good. I mean, I haven't talked about it at all, actually. I don't think I've done any interviews about it, because it's sort of then you go into the specials and then you're into the thing, and it's like, actually, but yes, it's got absolutely got some of my favourite stuff in, but also the other thing that did keep me going is, like, I was like, cliffhangers. Proper old school cliffhangers, and I was like,
every episode's got a cracking cliffhanger, isn't it? It's brilliant. So did you sit down, and when you realised what a writing task this was, did you plot everything anew, or were things like Village of the Angels something that was being developed for the normal series 13?
Yes, a good question.
And was Flux going to be kind of the arc across the series?
No. Flux came in. I mean, Flux is a metaphor for COVID.
I was just going to ask
Flux, like there's a big thing coming for them.
I said that online.
Working its way through the universe.
Someone said,
smashing
I
through.
don't get that. I don't get it. I was like, it's obvious.
There's a massive thing that's going to disrupt all life as you know it.
And then later Tech 10 says it's a virus,
Yeah. Oh no, it was absolutely shamelessly. And also calling it Flux, because that's what all our lives were in. That's the purpose of it. No, that wasn't at all in the. We hadn't got to working out serialized stuff, because that generally comes a bit later. You're sort of figuring out the building blocks of the stories, and then I knew it would be following on from Timeless Children. I knew it was always like the first season would be, Jodie's Doctor, very standalone. Hint at there's more to the Doctor's life than the Doctor knows. Season 2 was the Doctor is not who they think they are, and then season 3 was play in that sandbox. What does that mean? That was always the sort of plan, that very few people knew about. And so no, what happened was, I think we were definitely talking to Maxine. Because we loved Villa Diodati, we loved working with her, and the sort of genesis of it, the sort of territory. I mean, actually, that went when I took over that episode. That went through a bit of a change anyway, because of it was based on it started being much more based on real world characters, and then we weren't able to do it right at the last minute. We got the kind of advice, and so it had to. So Jericho wasn't in there, and that kind of came in when I started writing. But she'd done this amazing job on it, kind of, we were just like hammer horror with Weeping Angels, so it's, I don't know if the Weeping Angels were in there at that point. I definitely wanted a Weeping Angel story in the third season. We were talking, they were sort of up for grabs for anyone. And actually it came into that story a bit later, so there was always there was already a thing about psychic research in the 60s. That's where that story started. Real life psychic research in the 60s, and then it sort of transformed. So and I think, but it hadn't got this far. But I think we would have done a Sontaran story anyway, and that's why there's the mention of the Sontarans in the wardrobe. I was like, okay, let's just put a little promise in there. I don't think anything else. No. The only thing we knew was where we were going to at the whole end. I knew Jodie's final episode was always going to be Masters, Daleks, Cybermen. It was always going to be that triumvirate. And that was always what I promised her. We told Sasha at the end of the season 2 to go, will you come back for Jodie's final, because that's you, and that's the sort of culmination of all that. That's all, and the other stuff just came out as we worked, to be honest.
What did you take away from it as a producer and a showrunner, in terms of obviously hopefully nothing like that situation ever occurs again, but was there anything in particular that you kind of learnt that you thought, actually that's really helpful for future work?
Gosh, that's a good question.
It does come out.
It's really, they're all good. It's really difficult on Doctor Who because every episode is so unique. They're kind of not applicable, and then they come back like later on. You're working on something, and you're like, oh no, we did that then, and that's, you would never think you would use that again, and then suddenly it's like there's nothing generally that occurs to me. I mean, what I took from it was those people, which I knew already, but they proved
it. You over and above
those people, really, and particularly those heads of departments, but all of the, designer Dav, Ray, Emma, who was doing hair and makeup, all of the post teams also, all the first AD, the assistant director team who were there on all those locations, were there on a beach on the 6th of January, filming Jodie versus Claire on the beach, Weeping Angel, you're like, oof, no, not much. I loved writing the Weeping Angels. I loved writing the Weeping Angels. That was, and I loved writing the Sontarans.
They are so good in it.
And it's like I felt like we'd got the Sontarans to do a thing. I felt like it was nice in terms of to be able to show them as proper soldiers on a proper battlefield.
Definitely.
I felt that was honouring. Like sometimes you just feel, I feel like I'm honouring this monster right back to its first thing. And like the line from the first appearance in the Time Warrior through to them on the battlefield. I felt like there's a clear pole going through there. You don't do that all the time, because sometimes you want to disrupt or change or do a different angle of the monster. But that was great. But no, not really. Other than those people were amazing. All the the producers, the directors, everyone. It was just. I would not want to do it again. If we hadn't have been leaving anyway, we would have left. Because it was so exhausting, and that's not the biggest problem that came out of the pandemic. But so boohoo. But and I don't think there wasn't anything. Nobody left anything on the field, as they say. Football. It's like no, we really worked hard at it.
It's so Swarm is and Azure are amazing, aren't they? We
love Swarm as well.
And I remembered the other day. So you and Jodie and Mandip did
Comic-Con.
And
on
you
Zoom.
were
Remotely.
you were
from a basement in Cardiff.
Yes, I think so. And you were asked to give one word to sum up
Yes.
Flux.
That's right.
And you said Swarm, and I remember everyone online was going, but it's
The internet goes
Sontarans,
crazy.
Weeping Angels, the Ravagers,
And
the Master. How little did we know?
Absolutely not. I was just like, it's that sort of thing that you sit down, like you're coming from the studio, you've been there all day, you've been in 7 meetings, you've seen an edit, you've done the script notes, you've done a thing, and they're like, now you've got to go and do the Comic-Con remote recording thing. I'm going to take you across, Jodie, you and Chris get in the car, do that, sit there, you drive across Cardiff to a warehouse, you get in the thing, so he goes, okay, you're going on in 5 minutes, they sit down and they go, at the end we're going to ask you, could have one word about the new series, and I'm like, oh my god, what on earth, and it was quite early on, I feel like it was quite, maybe it wasn't.
We didn't know what Swarm was.
I was like, I don't know. But then, So you have to, your chutzpah, sometimes you have to really just pull that out of nothing.
I think because we were on holiday at the time, and there was a bunch of news that seemed to come out quite close together, and I think we'd seen something about you saying it was going to be so many episodes and serialised. Or was that actually part of the same thing?
I think it all came out that day, didn't it? Which must have been, if it was Comic-Con, then it would have been July before October.
Yeah.
So,
it was definitely July,
we hadn't,
How far in advance did you know when the show was going out? Because Halloween Apocalypse went out on Halloween, and then you actually have the date in there.
That one we knew, and it was a bit of a pandemic thing. We knew we were back in the autumn, which is where we'd always wanted to be, and we just didn't manage it for season 12 because the turnaround was too difficult with everything we were trying to do. We just missed it, so we wanted to be back in the autumn. And very early on, I said, could we have a Halloween episode? So it was a very early discussion with Charlotte Moore and Lindsay Currier, who was the scheduler. And I just went, if I write it for this, can you? And because I checked and it was a Sunday, I was like, and I knew we'd only have. So it's like I'm literally looking at the calendar, going, that's a Sunday, right? We know we're going to be on a Sunday for this season. And how many Sundays are there to Christmas? And we've only got 6 episodes. This is going to work. So then I can go to them and go, would you mind? Could we do this? And they were really pro it.
You must have known that in advance to be able to do that. It's brilliant. Just that, seeing that, the date of whatever it was, 6th of.
It was the date in the Village of Angels.
That's it.
Yes, and then we dated it, and then I'm sure you'll tell me there is a snafu in there, but we flipped the episode order, and we had to reshoot one cutaway. I think it might be that. It's Jericho writing the dates. We reshot that on Jamie's phone. Dropped it in the week because the episodes changed order after, because that was supposed to be episode 5, and then it was like, oh no, hang on, we need more. There's more story to come out in 5 and 6
before we get there.
So we moved it. I'm pretty sure we moved it up an episode.
Oh my goodness!
So we had to, So and then we had to ADR. If you look, when she says the date, we're not on her face.
Yeah. So I think we talked about that, and I said, they must have shot multiple versions.
Well, not deliberately.
We'll just take, when we know the date of air, we'll put it in.
Just drop it in.
No, we had everything planned brilliantly, and then I was like, we have to switch the episode order. And actually, because we were working so fast, we were like, I think we've covered everything. And then I was watching the edit, one of the final edits, and I was like, oh, everybody's missed this, including me. We're just like the date, because also you're not really paying attention to it at the start. He's just scribbling a date, she's saying it, and then I'm suddenly like, we've plotted that to the Sundays, So
because when you're looking at the edit like that, you're
not really looking for the date at that point, because it's a scripted thing, and that's been signed off a long time. So it's all of that stuff. So you can do that stuff, but it's really it can really come back to bite you, and I'm really surprised that there's not a mistake in there. Because of the pace we were that was the other thing.
It must have been frantic.
We were delivering those episodes so close to where, I know 1 or 2 episodes went in like on the Thursday before the Sunday. It was so tricky. But I'm really, proud of what everybody did on that. It's incredible.
You should be,
I'm glad you like it.
Well, quite a lot of people asked us to ask you if you'd ever write a Target adaptation of Flux. What we'd really like, what we're getting at, is a nice shiny box set.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Not all at once.
Not all at once. Yeah, I'd love to do a target book. Flux feels like a. I do have other things to do. Yeah. Maybe that's a 20-year project. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? But I think I'd need a little gap before I went back and kind of went, okay, how did this all fit together?
Actually, this made me think of a question here, which isn't on our list yet.
Oh, okay.
I've just thought of some. So let's say Flux, writing that as a novel is a massive thing. Yeah. That's one for retirement.
How about retirement if I'm writing a novel?
If you could pick one of your stories then to novelise first, they get in touch with you saying, Chris, we just want any one of your stories, which one would you pick?
I don't know. I think that is a discussion with BBC Books. Don't know.
If they can get hold of you.
If they can get hold of me.
Okay, so which one do you think could make the best novel or the best target?
Or would you like to expand upon Patings?
Oh,
it's a sequel.
Well, I think there's ones that would be fun to do. So I mean, A Woman Who Fell to Earth, obviously, because that's just lovely for all those characters and that thing. And there were a couple of things we cut that I don't know, Resolution, Spyfall. Also Ascension and Timeless Children. Quite a lot of them actually. Power of the Doctor would probably be lovely to do.
So you are going to be busy, aren't you? Because you know it's going to happen sooner or later.
I've got quite a lot on, aside from any target.
So sorry, slight diversion from my point, but back to Flux. Can I say because we're talking about suddenly having to write this thing and setting it. Have reusable sets, and then you've got to construct a story which actually encompasses those things and delivers on everything that you want it to deliver, and somehow also has to be epic, or at least turns out epic. Would you say your experience writing things like Broadchurch and Touchwood and those thriller things where you've got to interweave lots of different narratives actually gave you the experience and ammunition to kind of do this?
100%. Because you in terms of multi-stranded narratives, in terms of cliffhangers, in terms of you can only do it if or I could only do it having done both Broadchurch and also 2 seasons before also and even then you're kind of I can see the things you learn from having done it and watching it go out and go because every time you learn so unquestionably
it's mind-boggling looking at all the strands and events in it and like you said the Broadchurch experience would do that. How do you how do you map and plan something out like that? Is it a bit like a kind of serial killer with all these pictures
it is a little bit. It's huge whiteboards. I mean, actually, because we had to storyline it all on Zoom. So, and obviously I was working with the script team because we needed to kind of have it. So there is, we figured out a way to do story maps and story beats on Zoom. So it would be on like this laptop. But the story map for the Vanquishers has got so many colour codes. So we'd be colour coding each strand and going, okay, here's that story for that, here's that, and all. But the one for it was like literally. When we'd done it, I was like, yes, good, that makes sense. And you looked at it, it was this kind of, everybody, each character who'd obviously been in the story previously had their own.
Back together.
And
you turn it into a multi-doctor story as well.
But also that's about giving Jodie new things to do.
It's brilliant.
All the time.
Brilliant. I mean that's the Trout and Pertwee bickering, but with the same.
With her,
She comes in. Oh, you're cute.
She does it so brilliantly, and they're slightly different, and they're it's great. She's just great. I
tell you what, when you think about Flux and you think about what you actually put in that story, the elements and everything, it's almost like you're kind of making a rod for your own back in some ways, but you did it anyway.
Well, I think I was just really conscious of there was a certain point where I thought, because everybody was just telling me it's like, okay, you can do the small version of Doctor Who, and I was like, my pitch really, I just went in and said to all the guys at the BBC, and I just went, okay, it starts with the season finale. It starts with the end of the universe, and then we go from there. Because I was like, we cannot come back small. We cannot go, and also, it was like, I owed it to Jodie and Mandy, and I owed it to myself, but also it was just like, we have to. I didn't want it to be the season that felt small in 5 years' time. I mean, and obviously it could be compared to huge Disneyfied, amazing budgeted Doctor Who in 5 years' time, which is great. But I just didn't want it to feel like that. I wanted, so I feel like, and even the one that we did that was more like that for budgetary reasons in terms of Eve of the Daleks, I was like, I really love that episode, and it's, it has an invention to it that makes a virtue of it. So I really I feel very proud of it. The further away we get from it, it's like you're sort of slowly losing the kind of the stress and the raised shoulders of it and the kind of things. But also, I'm proud of it because of everybody's work on it, and really.
I mean, that is creativity through adversity in a way, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's lots of character. The great character actors. But those feed you. When you see the rushes, when you see Robert Bathurst is coming in and doing, I literally his stuff in that. In whatever episode it is in Survivors of the Flux, where he's doing the unit stuff with Craig Parkinson. I'm like, he just came in and did that, and he's one of my favourite actors. When you've got Kevin McNally and you go, because Kevin McNally was in for one episode, and then we're like,
he kept getting asked back.
We were like, day 3, and I was like, whoa, hang on, it's not a surprise, but he's extraordinary, and that character can carry on through this story and will be useful.
The only reason he didn't stay on board was because he had to go on holiday.
It's really true. Yeah. To be fair, the story had ended.
Yeah.
But he was at the wrap party and he was like, I'm finally being allowed to go to America tomorrow. It was it works both ways, because for all that you're putting stuff out, you're also being rewarded by an amazing set. That set that Dav built for the Biodome in the Division. Barbara Flynn. It's amazing, and you're getting that, and you're seeing Kevin on the rushes, and Annabelle Scully, who I think is phenomenal, who played Claire, and then Dan as Sontarans, and so you're getting this stuff back and going, this is building, and Sam and Rashenda suddenly scaring you, you do get nourished as you go, and then you're building, and you're going, okay, I want more of that, I want more of that, I want the moment. Even just the little scene of the shadow of Swarm in the bedroom as he's going to pick up Azure. I was like, okay, that's good. That's scary. That looks properly scary, and that's the thing. And
I love the design on both of them.
That's great. It's Danny Marie. Those really, really fantastic prosthetic design. Really great performances. Really, she did a great job. And amazing costuming. The kind of collaboration between those two departments.
And Cuban heels. We spoke to Sam and he was talking about his Cuban heels and he loves them.
Well, it's funny, it's when you see the sketch to begin with, you're like, that's where he's got sort of dynasty shoulder
pads.
It really, and that's Ray's genius.
It just works,
just change something.
Do you know, meeting Sam and getting him on the podcast was total fluke.
Oh,
so
really?
I went to shoot a show at Chichester Theatre with a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And we got there, and Sam Spruill is in this show. And I text Paul, you're not going to believe he's in this show. and I said to the guys,
get on the podcast.
I said, you won't believe that, guys, and they don't watch Doctor Who. And I was like, why do I work with you guys? And then I was setting up, we were live editing it, not to live stream it, setting everything up, and I looked up and Sam was at the door of this little booth that I'm in.
Right.
I thought, oh my god, it's Swarm. And we had a quick chat, and then we went off and came back for the evening show, and I thought, I've got to tell him how great I thought he was in it. And they were just sort of warming up and stuff, and I said, I'm really sorry, I just want to tell you how brilliant I thought you were. He said, oh, thank you. And he seemed genuinely...
He's the loveliest man.
He was wonderful. We ended up talking a bit about kids and theatre and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, it was still during a lockdown time or something. I thought he probably hasn't actually had a chance to hear from anyone because he's not getting out and stuff. And so I said, I run a podcast. It wasn't my goal. Paul was like, you've got to ask him on, but I thought, I can't do that. And I mentioned it, and he said, well, if you'd like me to come on, I will. Amazing.
I think people really love it because they, you can get to talk about it, and I think the appreciation that people have for those actors doing those roles. There's plenty of roles they do where they don't. They're magnificent and they don't get any feedback or something, and it's like, it's great, it's lovely that fans do that.
And really we always want to talk to them about, how they got started, and other roles and stuff, and so it's not just about
No, he's an amazing actor.
I've got a question here, which is, was there another plan for the third Dalek story, or was that what Power became? Because Eve was a last minute thing.
There was it wasn't a Dalek story. That Christmas, that New Year special, that was an entirely different story.
Really?
It was an entirely different story, and it basically, what happened is we, the long and short of it was a lot of back and forth, but we had it entirely storylined. Annetta had joined. I had pitched her the story, sat her through the whiteboard with all the story on it. It was very epic. And then I had a meeting with Matt and Nikki in the afternoon, and they said, we have to pull the episode. We can't afford to do it. We can't afford to do a New Year special. There was some heated discussion. Professional heated discussion.
Of course,
we were all very good friends. It was very difficult. It was just basically the sort of backup of Flux backup, Flux reflux, and knowing there was a big episode to come in terms of two big episodes to come. And they were just like, we just can't do it, and we can't find the money, and we can't find the, etc., etc. And I said, I need to think on this, because I can't really, in my head, countenance not doing a special. I feel like that's really letting people down. And then we met. I think it was the next day, or it may have been at the end of that meeting. I was like, if you give me like 48 hours to come up with a story, and what can I have? If I go, it's one set, 2 actors, and some monsters from the cupboard.
What have you got?
Can we do it? And they went away and went, well, we'll go away and have a think, but probably not. And, all that kind of stuff. And so we went away, not in agreement, but very, very loving of each other, where they were just like, neither of us have got the answer we wanted. They wanted to be, we're not going to do a New Year's special, everybody's just take a breath. And I hadn't got the, thing, where it was like, we still need to do an episode. And so basically I worked kind of through the evening with Caroline Buckley and Rebecca Owen in my kind of kitchen with a massive whiteboard. And it wasn't that evening. It was like, because we were working on the Sea Devils episode. So we had Ella with us. We were storylining the Sea Devils episode, having pitched Annette the other episode in the morning. So this is a typical showrunner day. And I was like, and then I woke up the next day and I said to the script team, which is Rebecca and Caro, it's like, right, can you come round? And I'd woken up with, literally in my head, it went 987654321. I was like, wait a minute, that adds up to about 45 minutes or 50 minutes. I was like, decreasing time loop? And then I was like, I knew we had Daleks. And I knew we could do a warehouse. Because everything looks like a warehouse in Cardiff. And also I'd always had one, having known how the show goes and having seen this happen, been there across various crises for my predecessors. I'd always known I need to have something up my sleeve in the crisis moment. And I was like, this is the big crisis. It's much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be like something goes down with 2 weeks.
Really big crisis.
But it would always come in through Cardiff, and there was like a big yellow storage, and there's loads of self-storage places. I was like, that's clearly a Doctor Who story. It's clearly a monster in a storage, self-storage, but that's the thing. And so I woke up the next day thinking, self-storage, time loop, then it can be the same set again and again, and it's a virtue, so it's one set, and Daleks, and 2 actors. 2 act, okay. romantic comedy, time loop, Daleks, warehouse,
starting to come
together. New Year's Eve. Wait a minute, New Year's Eve going up to midnight. Okay, right. And it was like that. And then I called them and went, right, can you come in? We're going to storyline this today. Right. And we storyline.
So you literally just thrashed it out.
There is. I think it's now been wiped off. I have kept the board possibly until a few months ago, but we ended up. It took us about a day and a half because it was so mathematical. Yeah, it was like this. Here's the thing, and it's going from 9 minutes to midnight down to we did it in a mathematical grid, going this scene, 9 minutes, and then the 9 minute thing, and then 8 minutes, and then that, and the repeats, and so we did that within a sort of day and an evening, and then I pitched it to Matt and Nikki the next day, and I mean, God bless them, they were both that's great, and we're furious at the same time. So they were like, we could probably do that, and actually, to be fair to them, they've gone away and done a little bit of work and gone, look, we could if we have to, and also I was like, it's Aisling B, let's and Nikki loves Aisling B, so it was like, that was another thing, and then I was like, we've got to ask Aisling B, and we're going to ask Aisling B, and there's no script, so I literally zoomed Aisling B, rang Andy Pryor, like, can we, what do you think if we went, come and do this Doctor Who New Year's, I can pitch it to her, but there's not a word written, and I had a call with her explaining it to her, she says, it sounds great, is there a script? I was like, in a week.
There will be a script, obviously.
So it was literally done, and then I had to bring in a netter and go, that story I pitched you yesterday, that's now over. That's now not happening, we're doing this. Like, oh, okay. In a way that, because it was epic to think, and then she just got so on board with it, and she was so amazing, and I just went, look, this is your opportunity to really, this is going to be a director's piece, because it needs elevating, it's going to be, the lighting of it is going to be crucial, everything about it, and she was an absolute hero, stunning director, great person.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's such
a cracker,
but it was, and then, we got it, signed it off, I wrote it, I can't remember how many days, it wasn't many, I think it was about 6, and then we were filming it, and it was, we just got it through, but it shouldn't, that special should not have existed by all rights.
But it's a really nice, tight story, isn't it?
It had to be, and also it felt like, okay, this is a good contrast to Flux, where it's so, by the end, so sprawling, and then it was like, okay, and it had to be funny, and,
bit of a breather.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about what the original idea there was, or?
I can't, because I actually can't remember. But what I will tell you is, well, that's not true, because the climax of it is the pre-titles of Power of the Doctor.
Okay.
So it was on a space bullet train at the end, but that was the fourth act. It was on alien planets, it was hijacks, it was an alien race, a new alien race, and it was, it's too much. Was it a new alien race, or was it? I don't know.
But it would have ended at that scene with the bullet train.
That would have been the climax of it, yeah. That was all plotted out, right. It wasn't Cybermen in the original though, right? So it would have been, it was, I think it was a new alien creature, it was a single alien creature. That was one of the hardest. That was probably the hardest moment was writing Power of the Doctor, because everything was banking up. You know what I mean? And now you're getting, because when you're getting so close, you've done the whole of Flux, so you've now, you've started filming in September, and you're now in wherever you are. We're in May. They're punishing, we're all in the edit, also with all the stuff. You're gearing up to transmission. It's really that last year was. It is, I mean, it's 7 days a week. And it is, 12 hours a day.
It's really just think that you sit on the beach, pina coladas.
I was on the beach with a pina colada doing all of this.
But we don't hold it against you.
I haven't. I didn't see a pina colada for a good few years.
We have a lot of people who want us to ask you about the Doctor and Yaz.
Yes.
Should we go on to that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So,
talking of Eve of the Daleks.
Put me glasses on here so I can do this.
I'm still pretending I can read this.
Here we go. So let's jump into this one. So, was the Doctor and Yaz's relationship, was it always a plan or an idea for a possibility within the show, or did it develop naturally as production went along? And also, aligned to that, do you know how important Thasmin is to so many people?
Yeah, I'm really aware of that. I became more and more aware as as time went on, and also since the show's finished, because so many people have said it and written and sent lovely things. It was probably the middle one of those. It wasn't a concrete plan. I don't think you can do that on series, because it's all about
you're not sure
what your actors are going to do, whether the story's going to be right. It was an idea for a possibility, but it wasn't particularly conscious. But then it just became more and more, and you can sit, and then it's like the sort of building blocks were in there. When you track it back, you can see the building blocks, but the building blocks are deliberatly ambiguous.
There's lots of little moments.
They're dropped in. They could be made something of, or they could just.
I'm very deliberate. Obviously there's stuff in Arachnids in the UK with Yaz's mum, in the office. But then equally, there's the moment in the episode before where Yaz is talking about the boy she went out with at school. It's like it was very deliberately. Just ambiguous, but also important that we weren't boxing these characters away. So, and also I think what became kind of apparent and great was just it's like Yaz discovering that as she goes, and that's really important in that story. But I think once we got into season 2, it's very much there. There's obviously a moment in Spyfall where she sort of alludes to it really early on, where they're sitting in the building site. And there's a moment that Maxine put in Villa Diodati where they're leaning against the door, and I said to Max, she was in her first draft, and I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" And she was like, "Yep." I was like, "Good, okay, we'll keep it in." Which is sort of my first one of my first things as well, that it was happening outside of what we were thinking. So Max can take a lot of credit for keeping us on the tracks with that, but also they're magnetic on screen together. It's and so it was an idea for a possibility, and then it sort of became unarguable, and obviously we talked about it a lot with Jodie and Mandy, but the further on we went,
it means a huge amount of so many people, don't they? And it's beautifully handled, and there's a bit in Eve of the Daleks where Dan says, have you told her, or she says, I haven't even admitted it to myself. And
the fact Dan becomes that kind of catalyst, almost, because Yaz has got up to a point where she kind of knows, but she can't admit it, and it takes someone else, as it so often does in life, just to say, this is what it is.
It's a beautiful scene. I remember seeing that scene on the rushes and thinking, John and Mandip in that scene are brilliant, and John knows exactly what to do. It's so sort of minimal held back, and he allows Mandip to have that scene. And I mean, it's also continually as you go through a show, you're like, you just see the continual strengths, because you're watching these actors every day. Every day you're watching Mandip. In the same way as every day you're watching Jodie, you think she's phenomenal. She can do anything, and also you love her. Your heart goes to her, and I feel like Yaz is one of those characters I've written in my career that seems to have their own most individual life. Like, I feel like she's a real person who's out there living now. There's a few of them, but she's really. But that's so much of that is down to the way Mandip has inhabited, co-created that character. It's really, she's
and she's done some difficult things as well.
Really difficult.
We have the story where we're shown her running away from home.
And
having some
Can You Hear Me?
Thoughts, which is quite a thing to show and have represented in a TV sci-fi show.
I mean, I think it goes back to the thing I was talking at the beginning of just going, if you've watched this, we really wanted to do something. It was Charlene James who wrote that episode, who came along with that idea of wanting to deal with those issues, and but because again it was being purposeful and going, I think we can do this. Obviously the show had done it before with Vincent the Doctor in a different way, but it's like actually to do it with a companion, to do it with Yaz, and to do it with somebody who seems outwardly really strong, really sorted, all that kind of stuff of like, felt.
And she's a younger, woman as well, a younger person, and people can relate to that a bit more, perhaps. What you just said there reminds me of a question I wanted to ask a bit later, but I'm just going to do it now. In your head, what do you think Yaz and Dan do after Power of the Doctor and the Doctor's left them?
Well, I think I I think they're fighting off I think they probably do slightly different things. I think Yaz is absolutely fighting the good fight.
Yeah, she's doing it. Yeah.
And I think probably she ropes down in every so often. He's probably like, "Oh, leave me alone," and then he's delighted to help her out.
Yeah, begrudgingly, but secretly likes.
Yeah, no, I really feel that. You know, in the same way, that's what I always felt about Graham and Ryan, and obviously Tosin would have been in Power of the Doctor if he wasn't filming in America.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
yeah.
How are we doing on time?
We're at 5:10.
Oh, okay, all right, great. Okay.
Can I just? I just want to. What did I want to do? Right. So we spoke to Ella. I just want to just explore this Stansman, the relationship between the Doctor and Yaz a little bit.
Yeah.
So when we spoke to Ella Road, who was co-writing with you on Legend of the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the things she said was that she asked you, could she push the relationship in that direction?
Yeah.
And of course, we get that wonderful scene on the beach between them, which is just fantastic. And and she was saying that you said, yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah.
So presumably there was never any doubt in your mind that this is where that relationship was going.
It was the story of those last three. Yeah. Really, that's a trilogy of the Doctor and Yaz. Yeah. So that is very, very clearly a trilogy, and some obviously things like the hologram moment in Flux is setting that up, setting up that trilogy. But no, that's really clearly that was the serialization really across the three specials. Super light, but is absolutely that, and is setting up also the point of. It's like the Doctor has to get Yaz ready to leave her. That's what the Power of the Doctor is Yaz's journey to being an actualised solo person. Taking that title, the Power of the Doctor, is obviously has numerous meanings, but really is all about the power of the Doctor that exists in her companions. That's the whole, and in us as viewers. The power of the Doctor, that kind of. Orange energy that is both literal and metaphorical that we all gravitate towards. But that's that story is that she has that Yaz has grown enough, but the Doctor also knows that the end is coming, and
because it's difficult in some respects having the Doctor in a relationship, isn't it? Because they can never continue that. It's just
no. It's a doom, and it's why you can only do it then, because it's kind of doomed in inverted commas. But it's and we Jodie and I and Mandip talked a little bit about that. It's how far does that go? And we calibrated that. In that end scene of the Sea Devils is calibrated. There are a couple of versions of it, and because it's like. The Doctor knows what's coming, but also the Doctor knows it's always going to be futile. And then you have the resonances with Ten and Rose and all that kind of stuff of like she can't do this to another person because she knows, even more so because she's been given the warning of what's coming. That's
And you can tell that for both of them with the Doctor, it's really heartbreaking. Good. And she said basically let's just enjoy what we have now. And the Doctor is an alien and doesn't move within humanity in a way. And is kind of outside of it. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
So there's a positivity that comes out even though it's tragic. And they know they can't continue together. What comes out of that relationship is still really positive. They both come out, I think, changed and better for it. So.
Because it's it's the biggest expression of love from the Doctor to Yaz is basically going, it's anyone, it's you. And that's absolutely. That's the sort of key moment. You can, and it's great because it's in the middle of all the stuff blowing up. But actually, it's as important as the final scene is that of her saying. I know how you feel. I feel the same way, and then it's like, this can't happen.
And again, it's true to the start of Jodie's time with the Doctor as well. Looking at everything we're battling against is all is all in a way sort of allegorical for the feelings that we have, for our emotions, for our journeys within ourselves and other people. So there is a real completeness to the whole of that era.
It should feel like a volume.
Yeah.
Do you know, so it
volume.
Should, you know, that's
volume.
That's
yes,
the thing.
That's the word I'm going to use.
You know,
Chris's volume.
Steady. I think it's but also as much as anything as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, how could you not fall in love with the Doctor?
Yeah.
You've been on all of those journeys and had all that time. And Yaz is the one who's been there from the start. He's there till the end, and it's like
and the flip of that, you can see why the Doctor, you know, fell for Yaz as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and seen her grow and become that person, and you know, who knows what that gap is between season 12 and season 13.
Right.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of it. That's why we started mid-adventure there as well.
Yeah.
So there's that, and the same between Sea Devils and Power of the Doctor as well. You know, it's like there could be years.
Yes.
Like there's an argument to say they're literally there for like 10 years or something together.
Come a long way then, isn't she?
Yeah.
She knows how to fly the TARDIS very much. Post-its around. What would the Doctor do?
Yeah, and they're all very, very deliberately laid there, you know, in the early specials, you know, for that. Like, I just wanted that really clear incremental growth.
Yeah. Was it ever on the cards that they would ever kiss, or was that not
I mean, we discussed it. I think it's an unrequited love story.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the right decision, you know, but it is an unrequited love story.
Yeah.
And,
or at least in terms from that perspective, because at least they understand that they do sort of love each
other.
other.
I felt it was more heartbreaking if they didn't.
Because
you know, if I had to make a decision again, I might make it differently. I don't know. I can see it was a real 50-50 one. It wasn't like there wasn't any sense of, oh, they're not allowed to kiss or they're not going to kiss. It was just like dramatically, emotionally, it felt slightly more wrenching if they don't. And also, I think if they kiss, you don't get the final scene on top of the TARDIS because that scene on top of the TARDIS is sort of the kiss. Really, is that's the thing, because it's
that's them sharing a moment.
Just
themselves.
It's pain and joy, and if they've had a kiss, I think it's. I don't know. It changes it slightly. It's a really delicate calibration. It could have happened, and who said it didn't happen at some point? But you know, that's for other people to. But it wasn't any sort of conscious decision not to have it for anything other than. Is it going to break your heart a bit more? They never quite get there.
And I think it does break it a bit more.
It does, But as I say, it also leaves them positive as well. You know,
exactly. It's a bit.
Because it's unspoken.
You
know, the feelings they have for each other, as much as they've been declared, it's also there's a depth that is unspoken in that final scene.
Absolutely. And Jodie can face her regeneration. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, mate, how gorgeous is that?
Oh, it's
You know, she literally steps out to embrace the unknown.
I mean, I thought I really wanted to do a different regeneration visually and emotionally of going. It's not kind of anger or pain, or it's like, my God, I'm lucky to have had what I've had. You know, and isn't the world incredible? You know,
it's so fitting for her. She faces it with hope and there's an optimism again.
And hopefully, and a generosity to herself and to the next Doctor.
Exactly.
You know, that's the aim.
And you're right. You know, all the others are stuff blowing up, and you know,
which are amazing.
Don't get me wrong. You know,
they're all
do them down.
No, I'm not. It's cool, but to do something different like that, and just just her. Was, you know,
but there's the example, I suppose, again of thinking. You know what we talked about right at the start, which is you come in and you do something that is slightly different. You know, so even to the end, I'm thinking, okay, what haven't we? Because everybody was like, okay, so we know we'll be in the TARDIS at the end for the regeneration. I was like, no, I don't think we will. We'll be on, on top of Durdle Door. It's it really. I just wanted to make something incredibly visual and bright and light and all that kind of stuff and epic. That it had to feel as epic as that moment in Ghost Monument. If not more so. That at the end you're like, of course, and she's greeting the sunrise.
It's just gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is. It's beautiful. There really is, I think, an absolute emotional depth to the story, and I know there's depth to a lot of other Doctor as well. It's one of the reasons I watch it. But I think this epoch, I'm going to call it an epoch now, right? of Doctor Who, just there's a kind of a truth to it, I think, and an honesty to it, and it's more than just saying, oh well, we've got to have a bit of love, we've got to have a bit of a bit of anger, a bit of conflict. We've got to have somebody who's going to die. It's not that. It's because with each of those decisions that are made, there are consequences which continue and affect the characters. A good example is Ryan's dad, who we're all expecting to die at the end of Resolution. And he doesn't. And that's great, because actually, sometimes it's, from a dramatic perspective, it's actually more dramatic. Well, it is dramatically good for people to survive. To kill somebody off in a drama is easy.
Yeah, so that's not the only way to have
bang, that's
dramatics.
But for there to be a true to the consequences, there has to be something else which persists beyond it. So what I'm getting at is there's a lot of stuff like that through this era that to me certainly feels very true, and I wanted to thank you for that, Chris, for bringing it into our little show. But I think, in terms of the legacy of Doctor Who, for me that will be part of your time with it. For you, what do you think? What would be the legacy of Jodie as a Doctor? How do you think she would sustain us all going forward?
Well, I think the legacy of Jodie is in all the young girls who watched her for the first time. And actually, the thing I had at the end, like the week before and after Power of the Doctor went out, I had so many texts from dads, like dads of 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds, who just saying, I just need to say, we're all, in the week before it was like, we can't bear it, my daughter's really distraught, can't we just keep her for a bit longer, all of that kind of stuff. But lots of dads and daughters, via their dads going, no, we have loved her and it's been really special and it's been amazing. And I was really taken aback by that. So I think anything that carries on after your time in Doctor Who is the story's impact on those, really on the, particularly the younger audience watching, that manifests itself in really surprising ways. But I think as much as anything, the biggest thing for me was always like, women and girls need to be able to see themselves as the Doctor. It's ridiculous that 50% of the population cannot identify with themselves as identify with the Doctor. That's not right. And so that's really one of that's the biggest thing. But also, but with a kind, hopeful, compassionate, brilliant, scientific, goggles wearing, welding, slightly emotionally confused Doctor. So I think that's the biggest thing, and somebody, also I think it was really important to me that she had incredible friends, because I think that's the secret to life. As a child, as an adult, the only thing that matters is that you have friends and you have good family, and and those things, and she is able to do that, even though sometimes she's a bit clumsy with it, like we all are.
I think actually Pamela Henro on Facebook, Blaine Coughlin as well. So Pamela said it's meant so much to me to have a female Doctor, a black Doctor, much more diversity in the show in general, in front of and behind the cameras, even a gay relationship that wasn't at all played for laughs and shock value. And Blaine Coughlin says, also from Facebook, it was absolutely awesome that you championed and fortified some long overdue diversity in terms of new creative voices and visions, both behind and in front of the camera. And then he asked how much impact do you think that's, which I think we've kind of talked about, but hugely admirable legacy. So
that's really kind, but I mean, it's really, it's just gatekeeping, and it was really like, it's those people. It's the Joe Martins and all the writers, all the directors, all the actors. They're all, they delivered. They nailed it. There's no credit on me. It's credit on them, because they just were amazing. Were there and waiting and brilliant, and I just opened the gate.
That's all I did. That's the important thing, though, isn't it? Opening the gate itself is such an important thing. To give those. I was going to say give those opportunities. It's not, but it's actually kicking the gates down, really, isn't it? That's.
I mean, it's hard to talk about, because it's really, in a way, it's just the thing. It should be the natural rhythm of things. It's like, anybody who thinks otherwise is an idiot.
Yeah.
So it's like I was just doing that, and also I was lucky to come into for a time show when there was just this incredible wave of writers, incredible wave of directors, and then they changed by being in the room. They changed the stories, they changed the discussions, they focus. You think about somebody like Nida Manzoor coming in and directing. It's like Joe Martin was Nida's idea. Nida takes full credit for that. She said, "Can we get her in to read?" Joe comes in to read. We're like, "Oh my god, absolutely!" So it's like that. That's the most sort of tangible kind of impact. And that's written by Vinay as well. And it's it's like that's what makes the difference. And I think you only ever think you could have done more. To be honest, that's all. You just think, however much you did, there was more, and but I'm grateful. I'm not grateful. I'm glad that it's that people have enjoyed it. And enjoyed the work of all those people. But I can't take credit for the work of all those people because they are amazing in their own right.
We had a lot of comments from people, didn't they? They just wanted us to say thanks to you for everything, and
you're welcome.
They love it.
And it's finding those voices, those perspectives, and not everybody is the loudest voice on an internet forum or the loudest voice in a room. I think what Jodie's Doctor's done is actually speak to some of the quieter voices. For whatever reason, haven't been able to feel like they can speak up or to be themselves, or in some ways. So what you're saying about having little girls and women finding themselves represented in the Doctor, that's part of it. But of course, it goes a lot deeper than that. For people who haven't been able to find a voice, and this is where I think Jodie and the material that she's had, and the way that you said everybody comes together, just kind of empowers and fuels that element of Doctor Who, which I don't think I've ever really sort of seen before. And it's really, it is the power of the Doctor, like you said.
I hope so. It's like being the kindest voice in the room, and that is a power. It's like I say, it's the graphic equalizer again, isn't it? It's like other eras will have different things, but it's not to say one's better or the other. But that was what we wanted to do, and I definitely think we ended up doing it. I'm really pleased that people responded to it.
I'm conscious of time.
Oh yes.
To be honest, we could probably talk. For,
you can have another half an hour with me if you want it, but
well, I don't want to. You've already stayed longer than you said, which is amazing. Should we do the Grand Serpent's
Yes, please. Yes, can we play our little game?
What's this then?
I love this. Right.
I heard the words Grand Serpent. This is a bit worrying.
We definitely need a theme tune for this.
Yeah, we should get something.
We need to get onto this. Right. This is right.
Do you want to explain to?
Yes, indeed, I shall, because it is my personal brainchild.
Okay.
I just thought of it when I was sitting in the bath one night. And I thought, the Grand Serpent's asteroid. Yes.
We're already into too much information, aren't we?
Yes. I didn't know
just visualise it, if you will. Right. Right. So there's Grand Serpent's. I'm not going to show you that.
I'm not going to look. Sorry.
No.
Okay,
the Grand Serpent's asteroid. Now I don't know if you recall, Chris, but at the end of Doctor Who Flux, the Grand Serpent was abandoned on this asteroid, floating in the cold blackness of endless space.
Yes.
Infinite darkness.
Fitting punishment.
With nothing. He had nothing. He just literally... And even the door was taken away from him. He shot through the door and they took the door away, and he just like, whatever now then. He's got no entertainment. So what we're going to do, as with all our guests, indeed, we are going to throw you onto that asteroid. However, we are a lot more considerate, if you like, than the cruel people who engineered the Grand Serpent's fate. We will allow you to take to your Grand Serpent's asteroid one of the following things, but you must make the choice, Chris. And once you've made the choice, that is it. There is no comeback. So
I'm really worried about this.
Are you ready for this?
No.
Brilliant. That's my pirate laugh.
That's good. Thank
you very much.
As good as Dan's.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Go on. You ready?
Yeah.
Go on. He's looking very nervous. Listeners.
Really nervous.
Yeah, very nervous. He's literally clenching his fingers. Right. Okay. Here we go. The first item you're allowed to take is one of these, and the choice is the 3 Doctors or the 5 Doctors. Which would you take? Think hard.
Oh, that's hard.
He's really thinking about this, listeners. There is a pained expression upon Chris's face.
Oh my goodness. I think I would take... Well, can't I have both? Really mean.
Just one.
I think I might take the Three Doctors.
Okay.
Because I love the Trout and Pertwee scenes. I love the recorder stuff.
Yeah.
I love all of that. I mean, there's many. I love the Cybermen stuff in Five Doctors. I think Richard Herndl's amazing.
Yeah.
He's got Janet Fielding in.
Yeah.
He's Dave. I think the three, but I'm just cross with you already. For not
So we're going with the Three Doctors.
Yeah.
Are you sure about this now?
But if I take the Five Doctors, I'll be sad I don't have the Three Doctors.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
you know,
so which is the one you could...
This is absolute torture. This is far worse than what happened to the Grand Circle.
Okay, let's make it a little bit easier now then. On your next one, you're allowed to take the whole of either one of these entire series.
Okay.
Which one would you go for? Torchwood or Broadchurch?
Can I not have a series I didn't write?
Nope. We haven't really talked about Torchwood, have we? That's right, got time, that's
No,
a podcast in itself.
would... That's not fair. That's not fair.
Who said it was fair? At least you got something.
Will take Broadchurch.
Good job. Fantastic.
You could have 3 series of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
all 3
Well,
series.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Torchwood as well. There's 4 of Torchwood, isn't there?
No, Countryside. We would never be able to watch that. I love Countryside. it just speaks
There's
to
no
that
way. Yeah, I'll take Broadchurch on that, thanks.
Broadchurch. Okie dokie. You're allowed to take one sci-fi movie,
Oh my goodness me.
and we'll even give you the equipment to play it on as well. So it's not
It's not just a
staring
disc
at
to
it.
look at.
Yeah.
I think... Do you know what I think? I will take 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, good choice.
I will take
Yeah.
that because that will reward, as I muse on my existential fate, that's a good movie companion for that.
It is. Yeah.
It's quite long as well, and it'd be like a psychedelic trip at the end. So that's what I'm going to say.
You could also look up from watching 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is all about reaching into the infinite darkness of space. You can look up from there and see the infinite darkness of space all around you, and think, yes, where's my obelisk?
And what I'm also going to think is, I'm glad I don't have a psychotic computer with me.
Yes.
So you know, there are
There's some pluses.
Always a positive. Always a positive. Right. You are also allowed to take one fantasy movie.
Oh God. I don't know whether this counts.
We can be the judges of this.
It's not really big fantasy. Can I take Back to the Future?
I will allow that.
Are you going to allow that, Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff is going to
Because it's
allow
not
it.
really science fiction. Can I take the Back to the Future trilogy?
Yes.
What? That's 3 films.
You see who's the tough one.
I like the Back to the Future trilogy
Back to
because
the
it's
Future trilogy.
clearly utter fantasy.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to have a good time.
But
I'm going to have a western as well.
It's a trilogy. It counts as one. It's like when people say, what's your favourite episode of Doctor Who? Flux.
Nice. Good. Quite right.
It's one long episode.
That's what I think. Right, Back to the Future.
Yeah, I bet nobody said that before. Yeah.
Okay, now here's one which you might need to give some thought to.
Oh my God.
Right, not so many, don't left. So
no, it does not the quantity. It's like the sheer challenge of it.
this one does get a little bit more tricky actually, but I want you to reach back into your distant past or now forever. You're allowed to bring with you one theatre production captured in a lovely crystal forever that you can enjoy. So all the actors, that particular performance of that particular play on that night, captured in a lovely crystal that you can hold up to the light of the endless star.
That's a good Doctor Who story idea.
Yeah.
I will take Robert Lepage's 7 Streams of the River Otter, which I saw at the National Theatre a couple of decades ago, and it was a 6 or 7 hour all-day performance. It was a 2-part show.
Hours.
Yeah, it was a couple of plays. I saw it in an all-day thing. I will take that because it was profound, it was beautiful, it was poetic, it was funny. I'll have that, please.
Yeah, and it would pass quite a lot of time.
I'm trying to get my maximum value here with all these things.
Oh wow, that sounds like good. What was it called again?
7 Streams of the River Ota, OTA.
What sort of thing was that?
It was a sort of physical theatre. It was a confessional. It's a very beautiful. He's a Canadian physical theatre writer, director, performer. Did another great show called Far Side of the Moon, Dark Side of the Moon, Far Side of the Moon. Really, really amazing theatrical performer. Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'll take that, please.
Brilliant. Yes, you can definitely have that. You're allowed to take one musical album with you. What should it be?
Oh, for goodness sake!
Just
one album.
You too.
Okay, spoiler, it's not U2. Much as I'm good with U2 and
Jeff storms away.
Bono's autobiography audiobook is amazing.
Yeah, I've read the book.
Listen to the audio because it's put like a performance.
I went to his show in London.
Okay, so you heard it all.
Amazing.
But you're still not going to get me on that. Oh my goodness me. I don't know.
What would it be between, do you think?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to go Beatles for me. But I don't know which Beatles one I'd go for. I'd go the complete Beatles, please. I'm going for trilogies and compilations. I don't know. I really don't. I'd probably take Help because it's the album I first heard of the Beatles, and it would take me back to a particular moment. And also, it's got a great range of songs. And some are quite light, and there's a couple of belting classics, and you've got Yesterday on there. So, for the sake of argument, I mean, I just can't answer that question ever. That's like torture.
We didn't say it's going to be easy.
No, apparently I've been evil. So
Okay, so you're also allowed to take one personal thing / trinket to remind you of when there wasn't such. You were faced with much more than just the empty blackness of endless space.
So my wife and children don't count here.
Well, are they a trinket?
I could probably try and classify them.
You are alone on the asteroid.
Yeah, I'm not. So no dog.
I would have said, you could have put a long belt around them. And
valuable trinket. I mean, actually, it would be a bit mean to drag them along. To be honest,
they need
to carry on with. Same with the dog. It's not really fair. What would I take? I'd probably take a book.
Yeah, a good book.
I'll probably take unless you're going to ask me about a book in a bit.
Oh, I am actually.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I've got my answer for that. What would I take? It's so hard, isn't it? And it's hard as you get old.
Yeah, I know.
Because there's so many things. Do you know what I might take? Is Jodie gave me this, as we're on the Doctor Who podcast, Jodie gave me this incredible gift when we finished, and it was in a jar about that big, which won't describe well
big
on audio. Big bell jar of a kind of bonsai tree plant, which looks like the biodome in Flux, and it was really beautiful, it was really evocative, and have it at home. But I will take that because it will remind me of a lot of things, but also it's like a living thing. That to keep with me, and a little bit of beauty on my rock.
Fantastic.
So I'll do that on a, given we're all things Doctor Who.
Yeah, okay. Tree in a jar.
It's a bit reductive, right?
I've only got limited word count. Okay, so
it look rubbish when you sum all these up. Tree in a jar.
But it's very beautifully explained.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So one novel or series of novels.
I would like
novel series.
Well, what I'd really like is the complete Dostoevsky.
Oh.
So the reason I like that, I read an amazing translation of Crime and Punishment a few years ago, modern translation, which absolutely blew me away.
Good,
I've never read The Brothers Karamazov, which everybody says is an absolute masterpiece, and I think, and it's really thick. And so I'll have all of Dostoevsky in really great translation.
I see where you're thinking with.
Because again, it will give me a little bit of nourishment, and So
and remind you of the well, it's all about humanity. All those novels, isn't it? It's all about the human condition in quite some detail.
Yeah, I am really troubled that I haven't had the time to read The Brothers Karamazov. So you're giving me endless time, that is absolutely the moment.
Yeah,
to do
so
it.
we're actually rewarding them now. I'm not sure about that one. Okay, so
Well, I'm not feeling rewarded, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, you are also allowed to take, this one comes from Mr. Jeff, one variation of the 13th Doctor's costume.
Well, I think do you mean which colour T-shirt or which? Or can I have a bum bag? Or
the bum bag only appeared once, didn't it?
Yeah, she's got endless pockets.
Yeah.
I might take the dark coat. I might take the dark coat and the maroon T-shirt.
Yeah, that's a good look.
I don't need the bum bag because I've got nothing to put in it. Other than my DVD of 2001 and the future.
Which probably wouldn't fit in a bum
bag
or
anyway, the entire works.
Which definitely won't.
Also, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't need to talk. So,
this is true. Okay, so the final one is you are also allowed to take one season of classic Doctor Who.
Oh, crikey. That's not fair, is it? Because it changes every day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I would probably take... so where are... Hang on, I've got to figure out the seasons. I'm not so good on the numbering of the seasons.
That's right.
Season 13 starts with Terror of the Zygons. Is that right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
I would take that season.
Ooh,
I would take that season. That's because that goes back to childhood. It's a great run of really kind of muscular stories.
So we've got Planet of Evil,
Pyramids of Mars, Brain of Morbius. Ends with Seeds of Doom, which is one of my absolute all-time favourites. Terror of the Zygons I really love. I would take that, but it would change any other day. But it's good value, isn't it?
It is good value. I think
lots of Liz Sladen, lots of Tom Baker in their pomp.
It's peak
and a tiny bit of Ian Marter as Harry Sullivan at the start as well, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would take that. That's not the most difficult choice, but that's also a Proustian. Going back to being a child as well. So that that's my Doctor Who comfort blanket, I suspect.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, good choices. I think. Yeah,
good choices. Yeah.
It's going to be bleak on the asteroid with all that stuff. I think it's all right. It's going to be quite exciting.
Right. Okay.
It'll be funny. Thanks to Michael J. Fox. And and we've got the Beatles as well. Yeah, we're all right.
Yeah, you can even blast it up and say help.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's a distress signal.
There you go. Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. Hey, how did he smuggle that one in? I'm not having
look
that.
at that.
Maybe you could
I've gamed the system.
You could tear up the booklet and hold up the flags like on the cover.
Yes, I could be. Yeah, each day could be a different. Yeah. And if there's any scanning.
Yeah,
when they're scanning the whole of space, and each time it'll semaphore out the message.
Yeah. We haven't specified whether they can make their way off the asteroid.
No, they can't.
Oh, okay.
It's just that's it.
I was going for a get out.
What do you? So do you just stay on it until you die?
Or you stay on it until
eternally?
You literally just stay on it. It's eternal. That's it. Yeah. Sorry, mate, but you invented the asteroid.
Who thought of putting someone on that?
Oh no! Sicko would do that.
I didn't realise it's a little bit too.
Is it too grim?
It's a little bit too. You're in your own psyche.
Yeah.
Because I thought of it, I'm like, I feel it's horrible.
This is the fate to which the Grand Serpent was left, I believe, at the end of it.
Yeah.
But no, listen, Chris, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you today. I've really enjoyed the session.
Yes,
thank you for inviting us to spend some time with you. Is there anything that you would like to say to fans of your era and I'm just going to use that word, era again.
Epoch.
No, I mean, really only thank you. I think we, like everybody on the team, and you've spoken to quite a few people now, and I think we all feel the same. We feel really, grateful and touched, and it's really lovely to hear. It's lovely to hear that, from people who enjoyed it. It's lovely to hear that it's been meaningful to people in different ways, and so that's been great, really. But also, we had a really incredible time making it, and it was a great privilege in itself. But no, I think my only message is, isn't it going to be exciting? What's next?
Yeah, fantastic. That's a good end point.
That's a good one. Brilliant.
Yeah, really good. Well, thank you very much for spending time with us today and joining us on our podcast.
Yeah, it's been
it's been all right sitting next to you, well, opposite you, like this.
Yeah, in actual person, what's that all about? The next one's going to be back on Zoom.
Back on Zoom, but it won't feel the same, really, will it?
It won't feel the same, mate, no.
And thank you to everyone who's been listening as well.
And thanks for everyone who sent questions. Yes. We didn't get through many of them, actually.
Sorry, we had so many.
We paraphrased a few.
So if we've answered something, thank you. Thanks for sending it in. And we'll catch you next time on Who Corner to Corner podcast.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of our epic interview with Chris Chibnall, but that's not all. No. We still have a series of quick-fire questions that we asked Chris after we'd finished recording, and he said, "Did we have any more questions?" And we said, "Well, we had tons," and so we said we'll just do some quick ones. So we're going to pop out a little extra episode next week for you to take a listen to, but. If you've followed us for a while on the podcast, you'll know how much we love the 13th Doctor era and Chris's work and the work of everyone involved with it. This was, a real special thing for us to meet with Chris and get to go in person, because normally our interviews are done over Zoom or similar. So to meet with him and talk with him at such length was fantastic. Brilliant. Wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, and really enjoyed it. Top day out, day at the beach.
Yeah, day at the beach. Yeah, he was so generous with his time. He was fascinating and interesting to talk with. He even signed our steel books. He even brought us a couple of little gifts down, which was incredible.
Yes, we have merch. We have rare merch.
Yeah, yes, we do. And it was. Just fantastic, really. So, for anyone else who, feels the way we do about the era, we hope you've enjoyed listening to this as well. We may have got to sit there with Chris, but, we feel that this is for everyone and all fans of Doctor Who, but particularly the 13th Doctor. So, when we started this podcast, we sort of said similar before, we just wanted to talk about Doctor Who. We had no goals, really, particularly no kind of aims. just to do it. But we've managed to. We wanted to have good fun, and that's it. And the things that the people that we've had on, and the other fans that we met, and the feedback we get from people, all of it has exceeded our wildest dreams and expectations. And we had as things went on, I suppose we had a number of people that we'd like to talk to, and Chris was absolutely one of our top things there. So to have managed to do it has been amazing. So if this is the first time you've listened to us as well, we hope you've enjoyed it. Do check out the back catalogue of interviews and stick with us, because there's
over 100 episodes out there.
Yeah, over 100. Every Sunday at 6 p.m. we drop a new episode, and we're always working on new things for the future. So yeah, stick with us, and let's explore the Who-niverse from corner to corner together.
Yes, I like what you did there, Jeff. That was really good, mate.
Yeah, very good.
Enjoy that. Yeah. Explore with us corner to corner together. Yeah, I like it. Brilliant. Nice one. Thank you for listening, guys. Brilliant. And we'll see you on the very next Who Corner to Corner podcast.